Good morning to you. It's 8 o'clock on the start of your Wednesday. I am still reeling, literally reeling from this morning at 5:30. We're talking like 2.5 hours ago that I can't stop thinking about.
At 5:30.
Yeah. So the top of the 5:30, we had the story about blood donations and how there's a strong need for blood during the summer, and we need to get out there and donate blood. Aaron is the most squeamish person in the entire world.
Is he out there?
He's
a real baby.
Well, so before, as the show's starting, Aaron said something like, or was it you who said it? You said something like, "Oh, do you mind giving blood?"
Oh yeah. I was like, right. Does it bother you to give? No, I said, when you give blood, do you think the whole time about when does the needle come out?
Right.
Because when I, what's the word?
When you donate, when you get a blood draw.
Right. All I think about the entire time is how many more seconds until this needle comes out? How many more seconds until this needle comes out? Like, I'm not a good, but I'm not horrible.
I know. But I know both of them so well that I know how squeamish Aaron is, and I know how you are just like, you really don't like doing it.
But I'll do it.
And so I just said to both of them, I'm like, actually, I love the pinprick.
And this one about dying.
Passed out.
He's like stomach queasy. He's hot.
He's sweating.
He can't even think about this stuff. I'm like, am I going to have to get over there and hold this man up?
Okay, so the open rolls to the 5:30. And I am trying to choke back laughter. It was so funny just watching his face. He's going like
making weird noises.
It was so funny. So finally the show opens and we just spent 2 minutes laughing at each other, and I am still reeling from it.
It was just like,
anyway,
what is going on?
So I'm gonna post that video for you on our Instagram page. You can find me at Dranch TV and at Morse Cat. It was so funny.
Just somebody who was getting somebody going.
You
were getting him going, and you know it. You were getting him going, and you know it.
Oh God, it was so funny.
And guess who's in the middle? Me. So if he goes down, I gotta get him.
Katie goes, "Can someone get me out of here?
Get me out of here today!" Like, it was just, and he's just making weird noises. It
was so funny.
Like, are you okay?
Mary says, "I hate blood draws." Last week when I had cataract surgery, she missed twice. Third time she hit a nerve. She made me so upset. Tomorrow's round 2.
Ed knows I've had some bad experiences, even though I drink so much water. Why did that just pop up?
I don't know.
I was wondering why it wasn't working before.
Weird.
Anyways.
Yes, we're going to share the video on Instagram in just a little while. I'm working on it.
I always drink so much water, but like lately my veins have just not been good. I don't know.
Brittany says it was a great start to the morning. Diane said, I get blood draws every month. Easy peasy. Then Kim says this about you, Katie. Have you lost weight? You sure look like you have.
God, Kim, I love you. No. Thank you for asking.
Yesterday, she goes, "Oh, that chair cannot handle your weight, honey." I was like, "You witch."
Okay, but in my defense, if you were with us yesterday and you saw the chair that he stepped on, I just think of these things. Like, this is the stuff I think about, because like, you're like, let's step on this chair that's outside of Delaware Park all the time. And you stepped on it and it's a metal bottom. And I just watched the bottom go, and I'm like, no. It did. The chair wasn't made for what you were doing on it. And I'm just like, all I can see is the metal breaks. His leg goes through. He gets jabbed by the thing. We get a tetanus shot. We take you to the hospital. Like, this is...
I die. Workers' comp.
For who? You're dead.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, this is how my mind thinks. Like, I went in 4 seconds from that to tetanus shot in hospital. And then I'm like, get off the chair.
Okay, speaking of, Jeanette's comment here. I actually love the prick, too. Something thrilling about it, and I always like to judge their needle skills. Aaron, what do you think about that?
I always okay, first off, thank you to everybody who said this. Yes, I do think it's a flattering jest. Second off, when I get my blood drawn, here's my favorite thing to say. So, have you been working here long? I am not kidding you.
Aaron.
Are you going to pass out, though?
Come here.
Look, he doesn't even want to go. No. Nice try. You blew it. He knows who you are now.
I'm guessing Aaron doesn't have tattoos. He hates needles.
He hates needles, blood, anything like. He can't take it.
Oh God, it was the funniest thing.
I just don't like the needle. I'm okay with the blood. If you started bleeding, I would patch your wound.
Do you know what I don't like? Vomit. I hate vomit.
Vomit is what it is. I mean, it's gross,
Ugh.
but
even dog vomit. I'm like,
Right.
please, really? Anyway,
It doesn't. It's weird.
thankfully Gladys has never puked, which
Oh my
is
God.
so great. In the year that we've had her, we've taken very good care of her to make sure that she doesn't.
Oh, my dog pukes every now and then.
Oh God.
If you don't, this is a great trait Bandit's developed. I'm sorry. If you don't feed him
Yeah.
fast enough in the morning, and I am not kidding you on this, he'll throw up.
Oh my gosh.
Paul is like, I think he just made that up.
He's
But
just
he
hungry.
does it. It's so disgusting. We're like, what did you do?
Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay. Ada, thank you so much. That's so sweet. Appreciate you. And Cheryl says, love you both. You make my mornings. And then Marguerite says, I haven't had my breakfast yet. Stop.
Shirley can deal with needles much more. Kelly sometimes she can't take it. They fight over who's gonna clean it up.
Oh, gross. Jessica wondering about Gladys's name. She loves human names for dogs. She says it's a vibe. So,
I do too, because I think it's so funny to be like,
Yeah.
me and Mark were just hanging out and it's like the dog.
So Gladys actually came to us with that name, and we both, Russ and I, thought it was hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, that is the funniest name for a dog, and she is such a Gladys.
Oh, it's
too.
a perfect little name.
Right?
She's like a little old lady.
Yeah. And so it's funny because, like, way back where in my family, we have a great aunt whose name is Gladys, and I think she's like 90 at this point. I don't even know how old she is. We invited her to our wedding. She didn't come. God bless her. But she goes, Aunt
Just so
Gladys.
everyone knows.
She was my grandpa's sister.
Oh.
And what's funny is that we have also, her middle name is Doris. So her name is Gladys Doris. We had an Aunt Doris also who's since passed.
Love.
So
Can I bring up what Lee says too? Because is your mom with us?
She might be.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was. Lee thinks y'all need tattoos.
I agree.
I'm on Jan's side. It's a no.
I told you my tattoo story.
Oh, yeah. And your mom says no. I don't care how old you are. Your mom says no. You can't do it.
Okay, Melly says she's already over today. Now, Melly, I have a question. Do you feel like you are making enough money to sustain yourself? And do you think that you are making as much money as the CEO of your company?
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
No.
Because here's what I wonder.
I threw out all my
Are
stuff.
CEOs making more money than regular employees?
I forgot that I was the one who had that script.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the gap between CEO salaries and what their employees make is growing. A new analysis of CEOs in the S&P 500, the CEO makes 196, so almost 2 times more than the average employee. And that's
196 what?
times more than the average employee.
Wow.
Of course,
That is,
it's staggering.
yeah. So while the person at the very top,
I mean, we're talking, okay, again, this is companies in the S&P 500. So we're talking big companies for the most part.
are we talking like our company? Are we in the S&P 500? I mean, we're traded. Yeah. We've got to be.
Think about the companies there that are like there though, and think about, John, can you turn your volume just the tiniest little bit? Do you hear that?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I like hearing the sound of your voice.
I'm like, boy, I'm extra loud today. I don't know what's going on. So think about what think about what your CEOs there could be making. We're talking like, $30 million. I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
I'm making that up, but
Well, okay,
I'm sure there
for
are some.
you know what and giggles. I mean, like our CEO makes a lot of money. We don't.
Okay, for example, Nike is in there. There's one that we would know. I'm gonna pull up a few more. There's some that we probably wouldn't really know. Airbnb is in there. American Airlines. Like these guys are making a lot of money.
What about Boeing? The CEO of Boeing at this point has got to be
Boeing is in
making a
there.
lot of money because and they are facing a lot of problems.
Here's the other things. A lot of these companies we don't know, like as a common person, they're
like name one.
let's see here. DaVita.
Okay, that's a dialysis company.
Healthcare services.
Yeah. Mhm.
Let me see here.
We have some of those here in Western New York.
Ecolab.
Huh.
Specialty chemicals.
Okay.
Fair Isaac.
What's that?
Application software. So we're talking these are like, different.
Now,
Now there's NASCAR, Netflix.
here's the thing about CEO salaries, and like,
We want one.
well, thank you. The thing is that they are, I guess, the person who is juggling and overseeing and doing, right? So they are setting the course for the future, for better or for worse. And they have the big, massive responsibility of guiding that company through either tough financial times and bringing them out to the other side, or, on the other hand, ruining a company, and then you get another one who hopes to do the complete opposite.
Sure, and you'll see those people change. But the fact of the matter is they do just make a lot of money.
Okay, so right. So Lauren is kind of echoing what I'm saying here. I mean, does the average employee want the responsibility of a CEO? I don't know. I doubt it. I don't know that the average person has the capability to handle that kind of big picture thought. Like, so many employees are just, in the day-to-day, they are going through their daily
maybe they
jobs.
haven't had the experience
Exactly.
of somebody who's in that role. Okay, so remember how I mentioned maybe $30 million? I just took one of the companies that was listed, MasterCard. I looked up one of their CEOs in 2022. It was this guy. He made 25.75 million. That was pretty close. He made 26 million.
Where is that? Netflix?
MasterCard.
Okay.
And then he also gets bonuses, company shares.
Well, maybe that's the thing. Like, when you're an hourly worker, you are maybe getting overtime. But if companies cut overtime, then there's really no opportunity for growth in terms of making more money. If you are a salaried worker, for instance, and you're just kind of working on 24-hour call.
Brittany says she's down for it. She'll take the CEO role for a year.
Okay.
Give her a year in the seat. It would be interesting.
Well, and that's kind of what so this is kind of what I was saying here. Jeff Baker, he's saying it a little bit more eloquently than I am. Many want their 8 hours and go home with no responsibility.
Oh yeah, and Barbara too.
Right.
Not 9 to 5.
Exactly. So they have this big, massive job. And they've had the experience to get there in many cases. So maybe it's commensurate based on experience.
Sure. Here's what I think. Peter's hitting the nail on the head where I think the issue probably is with most people. Maybe seeing companies cut jobs, maybe seeing companies cut salaries, maybe seeing salaries for people stay stagnant, even though you are working very hard in your role, because guess what? Not every role is an 8 to 5 or a 9 to 5. True. Okay. So maybe we've got people who are below working very hard, but they're not getting the raises or even close to what the CEO.
Or the bonuses.
You don't want to see that gap continue to widen. And you don't want to be a top heavy company. I mean, the people at the top want that, but you don't want to be too top heavy, because what happens then?
The balance is off.
And then eventually people start getting lit. It's
Jeff Baker says, me eloquent? There is hope for me yet. Melly says, I'm overworked and underpaid.
Yeah, because I do think, that there are a lot of people who do work hard in what they do.
Sarah says, also seeing prices of everything go up to just C-level employees get bonuses.
Okay, so that was actually something else that was mentioned in that, is that yes, the wage gap is huge, but what's happening is, as you can imagine, people who are your everyday workers are the ones who are going to hit with the inflation issues because they don't have $30 million.
Right.
Just an idea.
I wonder what a bonus looks like. What is a bonus?
You did a great job today.
Right. The bonus is the win in the morning meeting where everyone applauds for you and says, great job.
You did a
Keep
nice
it
job
up.
Today, Ed.
Jackie says, yes, they deserve to be paid a fair amount for the work that they do, but with the cost of living rising, the salaries and hourly rates often don't match. Make it make sense.
Oh, Mary, what a nice thing to hear. My employer recently called me and asked if I would come back because I have work ethics. I start Monday.
Good for her.
That's great.
That's great. Okay, the other thing is tipping. We're talking about having a hard time paying for things. How about tipping? Is it becoming much more negative than it is positive?
We talk about tipping here all the time.
Well, and for good reason, because it's hard to make ends meet, but there's a new survey out that shows people are not thrilled. It's a very negative experience for them.
Here's a question that I have for people when it comes to tipping. Let's say I'm thinking about those fast casual restaurants, okay? Not so much your McDonald's, your Burger Kings of the world, but the fast casual, the Paneras, the Chipotle's, where people are making your food right in front of you. And they've recently added tipping, and I'm recently in the past however many years, right? Do you tip on stuff like that?
At Panera, no.
Because there's the places that you didn't used to tip, but now people do.
Because what? They're turning the screen around?
Right. Or when you go through the process.
Right. I think, well, okay. So James says, I always tip, even if a small tip is better than no tip.
Okay.
Kelsey says, don't go out to eat if you can't tip. Servers make way less than minimum wage. It's terrible. At least 20% every time, at least. Okay. So I get that. So yes, if you're going out to dinner or you're going out to the diner for breakfast, whatever you're doing, yes, of course you're going to tip that person, right? But are you going to tip the person who is... let's see, where did I get a tip recently, or where did I get the screen turned on me recently where I was like, no way. Gosh, where? I think it was at I don't even remember.
Okay, while you're thinking real quick, Ada says tipping's become aggressive and negative.
Right.
It's no longer an option, it's a demand.
Right.
Oh, okay. Sherry says at Larkin last night there was a full tip jar where you buy beer and water.
Well, and that's kind of those things too, right? So it's kind of that similar situation. It was like something where they are literally going like this.
Uh-huh. Right.
Do you know what I mean? And what? So you're supposed to tip that person now?
I always throw money into a tip jar, if there's something like that.
Do you carry cash with you?
I usually do have a little bit of cash, but not much.
I love Kelsey's comment.
If I'm going to a wedding, for example, I'll bring $20, throw it in the jar at the start of the night because
and
you're
hope
going
for strong drinks throughout the night.
No, just because it's you know what I mean, and then you're covered for the night.
Yes. Lee says, tip the folks with an excellent attitude. Brittany says, tips are to ensure prompt service. Chipotle, Panera, their business model is prompt service. So do you tip there?
That's a little crazy to me, though, because it shouldn't be for prompt service. Because in a restaurant like that, you can keep track of when orders come in. It should be by the order.
Well, those people that are there at those fast food restaurants are also making at least minimum wage.
Interesting.
Peter says there's an option to tip at the pizzeria I work at, and recently had a customer that made a huge deal about it, for better or for worse. Sarah says, oh my gosh, Ed, I thought of you when I was asked to tip
at a sale checkout drink at the Sabres. I did the same. I went to a concert and the bartender made me a drink at the KeyBank Center and I tipped.
Okay, but that's a different story. That's is he making a cocktail?
A wine. I just poured a glass of wine.
Okay, so
I did tip. I don't know. I just did.
But if you're going to the bar and you're getting a drink, of course, you tip $1 or $2,
well,
right?
It was at one of the cashier places. One of the.
What, do they turn the screen around? Uh-huh. So, Sarah, what did you do?
I didn't know what to do, so I just tipped. See, I'm the person who gets the flip of the screen. So
Kelly says always tip your bartenders.
It says it was just a beer. Oh, at the self-checkout.
Okay, yeah, no way.
Because this person actually poured me.
Who are you tipping? Yourself?
Take it a little extra.
Catherine says the worst is when the waiter or waitress takes your card at the table and puts it in the handheld machine and waits and watches you tip. A good tipper, but I don't like that pressure. Mm-hmm. See, I prefer that. Give me the machine. I'll put my own tip in there sometimes. And then you say, see ya. Have a great day.
Interesting.
Jessica says, she says both sides. See, this is why we love having these conversations with you, because you are genuinely able to see all sides of the conversation, which is what we love more than anything, seeing and hearing voices on all sides. I see both sides. Just charge a little more and leave the option out of it. I've had horrible service and it was mandatory tip. I've had great service and wish I could tip more. Such an awkward interaction. Hi, did I do a good job? Will you give me money?
Marguerite and Shirley both like tipping in cash. Mark likes tipping in cash. Mary says, if you tip on a machine, do they know who left the tip? Barbara says, I think the electronic cash registers are pre-programmed by a third party. I tip people the old-fashioned way.
Okay.
Jason tips in cash too.
Barbara, that may be true. If you're going to eat out and you're getting one of those Toast machines or a Square machine or whatever it is, the point of sale, I'm sure that there is an option to turn it off. It can't be just an option where it's you must do this or else you will not get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Lee says,
tip your Channel 7 news people. Tip us by watching TV.
There you go.
Here's my next topic that I really do want to hit because I think we need to talk about it. Cell phones in schools.
Oh my gosh, so important.
So the governor is considering a ban on smartphones in schools across New York State. I know we have a lot of parents and grandparents with us. I would love to know what you think about that. There are some schools that have it in place.
draw
they-
a line now and say,
They
no,
say it's
enough is
working,
enough.
but they also say they still take cell phones away every single day.
Well, but then they have
Because
the
there's always
policy
going to be
in
kids that break the
place.
rules.
Right. There are policies in place that would allow them to do that. The thing about cell phones in school, and many students are saying this, it is distracting for them because guess what?
Guess who's texting?
Right. Parents of all people have become the distraction.
This Eileen did this great story. It's on our website right now, and we had it in the morning show. And she actually spoke with a student who said there was a part of her that was glad she didn't have her phone with her anymore because it was distracting the classroom. And didn't she mention her mom?
Yeah, her mom was texting her. Kelsey says, I teach college classes and I call them out every single time I see a phone out. You paid to be here, feel free to have it, but if I teach this and you aren't or don't understand because you're busy on your phone, that's not on me. She's right. Though Kim says, oh my God, let them have them. Yeah, it's just because of an emergency. It's that day and age.
Allison says cell phones have no place in school or on the bus. Lee says cell phones in school are just silly. Bring back payphones. We had payphones in my high school.
Hold on. I just want to, Howard says in this day and age, I think at least a non-smartphone should be allowed, not something that takes your attention away. I wonder this because, I have a young niece. She's 8. She has a cell phone. And, my biggest question is, are children using the cell phone for the right purpose? In other words, are they using it just in case an emergency, or are they going back and forth with friends, texting parents? Like, at what point does a parent say, okay, you know what? Like, it's time to
Well, and if you're a
focus
parent
now.
and you're texting your kid in school and you're expecting your kid to text you back, that is kind of like,
That's on the parent.
yeah. Now, if you know they have a free period at 10:30 and they are not in class and whatever, but if you text them and you know they're in class, like, you cannot expect them to text you back. You want them paying attention.
Pat Gray says some teachers use them for instructions. Yeah, we were hearing that
talked
as
about
well.
that yesterday.
So, it's like take out your cell phone, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? Does that help? I feel like that helps mitigate the problem.
It's right in front.
Right. Like you're using it, but you're not using it to check in with your friends. You're not using it for Instagram. You're using it to actually work through a lesson. And at that point, you're able to say, okay, like I've got it in my hand, and I'm doing something on it. And I think that's kind of like the need. It's like you're just kind of always checking it.
So somebody was saying yesterday, like, for example, they just gave an example of how cell phones would be used in a school, that a teacher would pull up like a trivia game, like they'd be playing trivia and the kids could answer on their phones or be in a
There's
group
like some game that I forget what it's called, but it's where kids have to like register and they use their cell phones.
Yeah. There's
I forget what it's
we
called.
played it at like
Kahoot.
a bar before, you know what I mean? Where there's like it's literally a trivia game.
Lori says the school will call parents if needed. But I wonder if it's the school will call parents if needed. I wonder if it's the children who need to be in touch with the parents or the parents who need to be in touch with the children.
Catherine says kids need a break from their home life. They need to build a little independence. Parents are ridiculous. Lori, she knows one school that makes kids put phones in a basket as they walk in the door of the classroom. I love that idea.
Marguerite said, I would have loved having my phone for math class. I still have nightmares about taking the Regents. And actually, I think it's because we just mentioned it yesterday, taking the Regents, the algebra Regents. Were you in the morning meeting yesterday? I think Maki Becker's son was taking the...
He was taking the Regents.
Yeah, the algebra Regents.
The algebra, and Ed was in the corner.
Shivering. But we had calculators.
Yeah. It's just hard. We were talking about it too, because the cell phones in schools kind of ties into the other story we had today, which is like the focus on the internet that kids have, that they can't be bored for 2 seconds.
Elizabeth says my kids' school in Buffalo that have not called me during safety issues is my kids who told me. Yeah. And so, look, I guess it goes both ways. And it's an interesting conversation. But what do you think of like a statewide ban? It's also a mental health issue as well, is what the governor was arguing.
Jeanette says parents can be ridiculous. When I taught at a private school, we did the basket thing with the principal. Most of the kids then just stopped bringing their phone in.
Yeah.
I bet it's hard for them to see it across the room and not be able to use it. So they'd rather just have it out of sight, out of mind.
Easy enough, right? We love having these conversations with you. Thank you so much for joining in. We are back tomorrow.
Wait.
Oh, go back.
Happy birthday, Jason.
Oh, happy birthday, Jason. Enjoy. Have a great day.
Okay.